Today we're going to do my version of the cat. I'm sure you've all done the cat many times before, and usually when you're doing the cat, we're starting off with our hands underneath our shoulders, knees underneath our hips and hip width apart, back with the natural curves of your spine. Be careful that you don't already go into that position, so the natural curves in your spine. And then with the normal cat, we often see it as this, pushing into the thoracic, and then opposite way. So this is the movement that goes on in the traditional cat. Just loosening up the back. Well, today I really want to focus on getting some stretch and length in the lower back. Okay, so slightly different to the normal cat. So you're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to connect the abdominals and tuck the pelvis under, trying to keep your thoracic nice and still. So that's giving me a really lovely stretch down there. Very good when we're tight in the lower backs. And then as you breathe in, releasing down. So breathing out, pulling in the abs, using my glutes, tucking the pelvis under, stretching into that lower back, opening up the front of the hip, and then releasing down. So it feels completely different to the other cat, and this is really nice and effective because it's giving me a real stretch in the lower back. So great for clients who are really tight in the lower back. So it's all about moving in the pelvis, using your abdominals, using your glutes, getting that movement there, being really careful. Let me just show you again, being careful not to go into your thoracic. Thoracic obviously flexes very easily in this position. So really, I can't see the point in increasing the thoracic flexion. Most of us are too flexed in our thoracic. What we're doing is trying to increase the flexion in our lower back, in our lumbar area, because that's where most of us are stiff and tight. And when you've done a few of that, go into a back rest, so knees, feet together, knees apart. Try and get your bottom on your heels. I know that's not always possible for everyone, but then work your head down towards the mat. Doesn't matter if you can't quite make it, you could make fists and rest your head on fists, or even a few pillows there. And just take a few breaths in this position, just allowing the lower back to lengthen out. Okay, and that's the little lower back cat stretch. Hi, I'm going to do a great little sequence now, which I use all the time in my lower back pain classes, or people that have come to me with sort of, lower back pain. Great little exercises, working really on maintaining the correct function of your hip flexors, and get the hip flexors to just release and return back to normal, which will allow a little bit more normal pelvic movement. So the starting position for this one is on all fours. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, back with the natural normal curves in your spine. Don't start off in this position, don't start off up here. So the normal curves in your spine. Now this looks really easy and is actually really quite hard to do. What you're trying to do is you're trying to rock backwards without tucking your pelvis under. Okay, so you're rocking backwards and forwards, keeping your back with its natural curves in. So a good cue to give your clients is to think about sticking your bottom out, because everybody, if they're coming to you with lower back issues, will do that. They're going to be really tight in the lower back. Okay, so it's about sticking your bottom out as you rock backwards and forwards. And it's an out breath as you rock back, in breath as you rock forwards. And all you're doing here is you're allowing the psoas muscle, your hip flexor muscles, to you're giving them a little stretch and letting them release. And often that just is enough to let your brain know to relax the psoas, to relax the hip flexors a little bit. And so you're going to get them to do that about 8 or 10 times. And it really helps if you're doing this, if you're working with your clients, if you're actually putting your hand on here and you can feel whether they're getting any lumbar flexion. That's what you want to avoid going on. So you're going to do that a few times, and you're coming back to centre, and then we're doing the sort of Pilates cat as opposed to the yoga one, so focusing on stretching out that lower back. So it's an out breath, you're pulling in your abs, you're using your glutes, you're pushing into your lower back, pushing the lower back up towards the ceiling, and releasing down. Now that is easier to do for clients once they've done the rocking, first of all, because that releases the hip flexors, it allows the pelvis a little bit more movement, and they can open up more in the front of the hip. So again, you're going to get them to do that about 8 times. Just remember, you're breathing out, you're pulling in your abs, you're tucking your pelvis under. And then on the last one, get them to hold the flex position. And then you're going to start to rock backwards. So now we're rocking backwards and forwards, using your abs. I'm keeping my abs on all the time now. And I'm rocking backwards and forwards, really using those abdominals. So I'm getting a really nice stretch in my lower back. Very, very nice stretch in my lower back. And again about 8 times. And when they've done that last one, just get them to go into a backrest position if they can. And that's your little series of 3. Fantastic exercises, use them all the time with my back care clients, absolutely brilliant.